It's 7 o'clock on a Tuesday night, and where else would I be but here with you? DJ Stutz with Little Heights Academy USA and Imperfect Heroes podcast. And there's just so much going on. You might hear a little bit of noise outside. My sweet husband, it has been finishing up a deck. So we've been in our sweet home for 6 months now. He's finishing up a deck. He's leveling some land for his barn, and he wants to get the sprinkler lines in the front yard before the snow flies, and it's getting closer and closer. So we're doing the farm thing, right, with our big 2 acres. But for us, that's a lot of land. So if you hear any noise, that's my sweetheart doing his thing. So more stuff. My book came out. So excited. You can find it on Amazon and order it. But the first day, so when they are publishing and printing books with a first-time unproven author, that would be like me, they have a very limited number of books that they print because, they don't know if they're going to sell any or whatever. Well, I sold out the first day. Yay! And so that's kind of fun. So if you, in fact, I don't know if they'll even let you order right now. I think it says currently unavailable. So while they're printing new books, it'll say that, and I don't know if you can even order or not. But if you can, it'll take a minute for them to get them to you. It won't be like just a couple days like normal. So, but once they get those reprinted, then you're going to have them out. So it's in Amazon. If you just look for Roman is Bigger, then you're going to find it. So I'm so excited. So much fun. So anyway, all cool stuff, all good things. And then I am getting ready. I know, it's like the end of September. So we're looking at parent-teacher conferences coming up. Can you believe it? And so I do have a workshop that's available, and I think it's still free. We're going to start charging soon, but I think it is still free. And it's on just what questions to ask, how to gauge your teacher. So, and two, because some schools you only get 10 minutes. Some schools you might get 20. It just depends on the school, how many kids your teacher has to get through, how much time they give him or her to get through all those kids. And so just how to make the best use of that time. And so how to prepare so that you should already kind of have a good idea of what your kid is doing if you are checking their backpack. So if you check their backpack every day, you see the homework, you see all of the activities that are going on, you see how their work is coming back, then you can go in with a pretty good idea of how they're doing in school. And so that changes the kinds of questions that then you're going to ask. Does your child have an IEP, which is an individualized education plan? And so then you want to, that frees you up then to have questions about how are they following up with the accommodations and how are things going? What kind of friends are they making? And so you're able to make better use of that time. It's a great little workshop, and so that's going to be available next week. And so maybe keep that in mind. My mouth is dry. I'm on a new medication. Won't be on it for long. So that's the good news. All right. So let's get going, because this week's episode on the podcast is just so good and so amazing. So I've got this amazing doctor. She's a pediatrician, and her name is Maureen Michele. And we are talking about kids who are chronically ill. Now you may think, oh, I don't have a chronically ill child. Good, that's great. But maybe you have a niece or a nephew, a grandchild, or maybe there's a kid in your child's classroom or down the street, they're making friends, whatever. And so we're talking about not only if it's your child, right, that is chronically ill, but ways that you can support those families. We're also talking about how to support the kids in the family who are not chronically ill. And super important because, in fact, it's funny how I've had so many conversations lately about that really greatest gift, that really important gift that you can give your child is a strong, healthy relationship of the adults in the home, right? And so it gets so much harder when there's a chronically ill child. And in fact, the divorce rate when a chronically ill child is in the home shoots right up. It goes really high because there's so much stress involved, and there's finances, and there's just the emotions, and it depending on how chronically ill they are, right? How severe that is, it's gonna have just a real different effect on parents. And I've even had a friend who her son was injured and became physically and even mentally handicapped. He could speak, and he's a great, well, I say he's a great kid. He's in his 30s now, but he has difficulty walking, difficulty dressing, but he can communicate, but his speech is very slow, and he's really into jokes, and he has some things that he really wants to do, and so they've worked hard. But when they realized how involved that he was going to be, it's a spinal cord injury, and they said he wouldn't walk again. Well, he does walk. It's haltingly, and it's difficult, but he does it. He's determined. This kiddo is determined. And but they said their suggestion was to just institutionalize him and walk away, because if you don't, your marriage is going to fall apart. And you've got other kids. I think 4 other kids, 3 or 4 other kids. And anyway, and that was what the doctors were suggesting, is that they just walk away from this kid. And they're like, I don't think so. And so, but they have just an amazingly strong relationship. Maybe I ought to have them on for an episode sometime on just how did you do it? And, how did you manage on? So all their other kids are grown up and gone. They've got all these grandkids, but this son is in their home, will be with them. And how did you keep it together? How did you keep that marriage strong and make it happen for you and your family? And so that's something that's to think of. But, it's so important that you really concentrate on that marriage so that your kids who are already under all kinds of stress don't have that additional stress of their family now splitting up. That's just, it's hard. It's just hard on everyone, but it's especially hard on those amazing kids. So let's think about that. And when we think about chronically ill, we might think about things like cancer. And so Dr. Michele, she has one of her daughters had, I forget what kind of cancer, because it's a long word that I can't pronounce. She's very good at it. But here she was, pediatrician, and has this healthy, beautiful child. And then she was about, I think, 6 months old, and she has this horrible, terrible cancer. And, their world just comes crashing in. And it was funny that she said at one point how people would say, well, it must be easier for you because you're a doctor. Why would that make it easier? You're still scared to death for your child. And in fact, my thought was that would make it harder, because you know the odds. You know exactly what that child is going to have to go through, and you know the outcomes, the side effects, all of those things. Where if you're not a doctor, you can be blissfully kind of uninformed in a lot of that. But that just seemed to me to be an interesting comment that someone would make to them. Odd. Anyway, they had this daughter, and they went through all of this stuff, and she's working hard to take care of her daughter and take care of her other kid. And I think she just has one other daughter. And and then, oh no, she has 2 other kids. Sorry, I remember that now. And then, she's working in her practice, developing that, and that just kind of went on the back burner for a lot of things. Of course it did. And so she was working through all of that. She's a military veteran. That's how she got through med school and stuff, right? And so her daughter recovers. And they're scot-free, right? Right? Yeah. Well, when her daughter got a little older, and she'll tell the story, but her daughter came down with type 1 diabetes after she recovered from cancer. Can you imagine? Oh my gosh. So it could be cancer that's doing it, right? Maybe it's Down syndrome or some other type of trisomy. It could be diabetes. It could be it's something even like ADHD. It could be autism. There's so many things that it could be. And so it could be something that, is manageable. And, you don't look at someone and say, oh, type 1 diabetes, right? But there's still so much stress and work and effort that is going on, and things that you have to watch and maintain. And, I've taught kids I had one little girl that was so allergic to citrus that every morning we had to, after the kids came in from school, or to start school, everybody had to wash their hands, because even if they just had an orange juice for breakfast, and of course they have orange juice at school lunches, it's a very healthy thing for them, and so we had to make sure everybody washed their hands, because if she just touched somebody that had maybe some orange juice on their hand that was drying, they spilled it on them or whatever. Hives, shaking, it was just horrible. So, you never know what is going on. We had to have them be sure they were washing very well after lunch too. That was just, they got used to it. The kids were great. They got used to it. They knew. They came in, they made a line, and they washed their hands at the sink before they came to sit down, kindergarten, came to sit down at the circle and to see what we were going to do, either after, our start of the day or after lunch. It was always at the circle. So, you never know what it is. And so some things may be something that other people don't see, and so maybe you don't understand, or it may be something that is quite obvious, that there is, whoa, this is something really big and really significant. And so we talked a lot about this. And so through all of this, in addition to her medical practice, she is also now a life coach, helping other parents who have chronically ill kids through that. And and it's kind of cool. She also helps young physicians as they're going through their training to become physicians. She's also done that, and she helps them to understand the whole family scenario. But she said it was really interesting, the way that she looked at it before she became the mother of a patient, when she was just a physician, and that totally changed everything in her practice. So she did an amazing job just sharing her own personal journey of becoming a pediatrician and then caring for her daughter through that cancer, and then through the type 1 diabetes, and having to find a balance of career and family, because even if there's 2 incomes and both parents are working, there's a huge financial burden on chronically ill kids that are on the family. Of course, you wouldn't trade it for the kid for anything, right? Of course you do what you need to. But so how do you find that balance of, I've got to get work done and bring in money so we can take care of the child. I've got to take care of the child, but then I've got other kids that I've got to take care of as well. And then there's my sweetheart, whether, it's my husband or my wife, but I've got to take care of that relationship and make sure that that is strong. And so that my kids can see mom and dad are strong and healthy and they love each other. That will help calm your kids down significantly. When mom and dad fight, it is very stressful for the kids, especially if you're doing that loudly or that snippy, just not talking to them. The kids pick up on that. Well, we're not yelling in front of the kids. Yeah, but you're being a turd, right? And so they pick up on that. They're not stupid. Kids are so smart. So let's think about that and see what we can do. And she also said that parents, and this makes so much sense, how they just have so much burnout. Can you imagine? Just all of the things that you've got to take care of and manage, and you just get so burned out. And so sometimes it gets to a point where it's really hard to maintain even that hope for the future. You just feel so mired and sunk down into this valley of despair that it can become very difficult to maintain that hope for the future that you must have to manage through all of that for your child that is ill or injured, and your other kids as well, and your marriage as well, And so sometimes it's very hard, and she talks about this, for parents of chronically ill kids to just ask for help. I need help. Because you feel like you have to carry it all, right? And sometimes we don't even ask our spouse for the help that we need, or to say, I'm feeling this. I'm really worried about this. And then to receive that. And sometimes understanding that they just need to be able to talk about it. I know I can't solve all the problems, but I can hear them, and I can share love, and I can share that hope for the future. That might help. So think about some of that, but it's hard to get that courage to ask for help when you need it, but it's so important. And honestly, asking for that help does a number of things, right? It's going to help you better take care of the needs of your kids. So which is better, your pride or the needs of those kids that need you to get that help so that they can have, mommy time or daddy time or whatever, right? And so it's important for you. Also, many people are out there that would love to help. They just don't know what to do. They would love to get that help, but they don't know how to move forward. We talked a little bit about my niece, and in the show notes, because I did an episode with my niece because she had a significantly ill daughter, and I did an episode with her about managing your other kids. When we did the episode, she was pregnant with her 6th and had that baby like 2 weeks after we recorded that episode. But about how to do it, and one of the things she said, which I thought was super interesting, was that sometimes when people come over to help, I'll help do your laundry. I'm going to help clean your kitchen. I'm going to make dinner for y'all tonight, or whatever. That it was actually more stressful than not having them over because, I have this one kid that won't eat this, or I have this other kid that, is, needs something set. He'll eat this, but he needs to have certain things in it before he'll eat it. And, when you have a child that's chronically ill, it's very often it's just like, you know what, if you're going to eat it, fine. I can't have another argument. I can't do it. So if all you're going to eat is mac and cheese today, that's what you're getting. Oh, and you want to have wieners in it? You got wieners in it. Whatever it is, then, you work with that. Then she would worry about what if the kids have a tantrum? Or what if they start arguing when this person is here? Are they going to think I'm a bad mom? Are they going to judge me? And she was kind of in that mode. And then maybe they don't fold the clothes the way that she folds them. Or, and because she'd have to have it in the drawer just the right way so that they all fit. Well, 6 kids, what do you think? Right? And then, or they didn't put the pots and pans in the right spot. And so then when she needs them, she's spending time rummaging all through the kitchen looking for where did they put that. And so, it just becomes sometimes more. And so rather than just saying, oh, I'm going to come do this for you, it's better to say, I have time from 12 to 2 on Wednesday. What can I do for you during that time? Can I take the kids to the park and give you a chance to have a nap? Can I do a grocery run for you? Do you want to, whatever it is, that find out what she needs or dad needs, right? And guys, you can help out. Just say, hey, do you want me to, would it help if we came and mowed the lawn? What do you need? And maybe help with driving the kids to the baseball practice or whatever it is. But ask them, what can I help you with? And at first they might say, oh no, we're fine. And it's like, yeah, shut up with that. What can I help you with? And remind them that, whatever it is that you need or the kids need, let's get that done. Do they need a ride somewhere? Do they need some time at the park? Do you need a chance for a nap? Do you need, and so when you start giving them some ideas, give them a menu and say, these are some things I can do. Here are my times. I'm going to call you the day before. Like if I have time Wednesday, I'm going to call you Tuesday. This is a list of the things that I can do. Pick something that's actually useful. And kind of get in there. Family, and that's one of the things my niece said, was that it was easier actually sometimes with family because they knew the kids. They didn't judge her because their kids fought, because they all had kids, right? And so, and they knew what the kids liked and how they fed, how they ate. Her family's super, super close, like crazy close. And so, family was sometimes easier. So sometimes maybe if you're not family, you just need to become a good enough friend that you're learning those things too. I don't know. So we talked about some of that. And we talked about making sure that your ill child is aware of what their strengths are. And then even your well child is also aware of what their strengths are. And it's okay to say, I know that I have to ask a lot from you to help out because Joey needs a lot of attention. His body isn't working really well and he needs a ton of help. And I am so grateful that, you having to do a lot that kids your age don't have to do. And I recognize that. And I know it's hard, but I am so grateful that you're here. God put you here in this family because he knew I needed you. And he knew Joey needed you. And he knew you need Joey. Right? And so when you start talking to them and building their confidence, and we start talking about, living in gratitude and living in service, and, we think we're just living and doing, but there's so much service that goes on in the family that has that chronically ill child. And it's like, you are his protector. You are the one that makes him laugh. You are the one that reads to her. And you are the one that calms her down. You are, and let them know what is their strength and what is it that they do well for them, or maybe even for the other kids, right? That they're able to do. So you, like, one kid, your ill child may be having a difficult time. Either they're uncomfortable and they're having trouble expressing it, or I don't know, whatever. Maybe they're having a health issue right now with diabetes. Their sugars went off, and there's a medical. And another kid notices, and automatically they go right over and take the kids and start reading to them, or watching something with them, or playing with them in another room. Some kids automatically, they have that in their nature and they know what to do. And so, notice that. Let them know that. Let them know how much you appreciate that. So anyway, it's a lot of fun. Good stuff, good stuff. And so, anyway, I am very excited. Oh, yeah. Oh, I just have a thing. I was going to see if I could give you the number on it, but I can't. So, well. So anyway, I hope that you'll join us next week. We have some fun things in the works that are just going to be so exciting, just so great, and fun for you guys, and some collaborations with some people that I'm going to be talking about, we're working on, and I'm really excited about what's coming up. So anyway, till next week, let's find joy in parenting, and we'll see you later, guys. Bye-bye.